No, look right there. Look right there. Look right there. And say, welcome to Citrus Lane. I'm your host, Bella. Happy Friday, everyone. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Citrus Lane. I'm your host, Jess. Welcome to a special Friday episode. Because I wasn't on time, and I said I would, and so here you go. 2 videos in a day, because I had problems uploading. Just come watch creepy videos with me, won't you? Do special Friday episode.
Alright, it's right there. Oh my god, look at the freaking lights. How am I supposed to... Okay, the aircraft is right here, okay? Sam's Club, but the lights are so spinning for you right now. Sam's Club parking lot right now. Now it's gone. That's in the clouds. Come on now. Come on. Thank you. So this whole thing is a projection, okay? Remember, Sam's Club parking lot right now. Right here. Remember these little craft. See it spinning? Let's see, you can slow this down. You can see. So cute. Come on. Getting gas at Sam's Club going to Denver. So this is not a drone spinning over there, okay? Where are you going? Okay, so anyways, Sam's Club parking lot right now, okay? Even though the lights are being cool. Look at this. Now, isn't that pretty? Seriously, look at this. And you can mix them, bend them, mix them with this. Alright, there'll be more.
Okay, so I watched it back through again, and I don't really see anything. I see what looks like plane lights, and I said this in other videos, but like if aliens can travel across the vastness of space, they can camouflage their ships. So like, but it might also just be a plane. I don't know. I left it in, even though it's kind of hard to tell, because even though I couldn't see anything, maybe somebody else can. It was also kind of funny that he's like very distracted by the lights. I mean, the lights are overpowering. Yeah, when he is zoomed out, it's like more bald, and then the more he zooms in, it seems like it stretches the light out, which is very interesting to see. There also is a comment that says nice drones. I guess, yeah, people break laws all the time, but like drones, or at least my drone. I won't say like definitively because I don't know for sure, but like from what I'm aware of, drones will not go above a certain, like, it's not even that they can't, that they're not allowed to, it's that the programming on board will not allow them to exceed that 400 feet barrier. So like either those clouds are really, really low. I mean, I'm in the argument that they are drones. Either those clouds are really, really low, or these are people who are, well, I don't know if Japan's drone laws are the same as ours. I would imagine that they're similar, but not the same.
Right after an earthquake in Turkey, a couple caught something unexpected on camera from their car. In the video, small flame-like objects appeared, gliding together almost like a school of fish, but in the sky instead of the ocean. These lights seemed to hover and move all at once, creating an eerie display. Was it an unusual weather event, or perhaps something else entirely? Either way, this strange scene has got everyone talking. What do you think of these sky flames?
What do I think? I think they look really cool. They look like a bunch of will-o-wisps, but like I didn't think will-o-wisps. Why am I saying it like that? Wisp. It is very entrancing seeing them wisp around each other in such a way.
It's interesting. Jeremy, I want to talk to you for a second. The Pentagon's UFO chief. This is a Pentagon guy, a UFO chief, the chairman of Harvard's astronomy department as well, both releasing a report on Tuesday where they wrote an artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth. You've got the Pentagon talking about the idea of a mothership going above us and sending probes down.
The text says, "Get ready, Pentagon warns of possible alien mothership sending probes." I need to see, I mean, I don't doubt that that's a real news clip, but I would like to see if anything happened from that. The people he's referring to, which I kind of was already somewhat familiar with one of them. An artificial stellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth, an operational construct not too dissimilar from NASA's missions. Sean Kirkpatrick, director of the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, wrote in a research report co-authored by Abraham Loeb, Avi Loeb, chairman of Harvard University's astronomy department. So it wasn't, I guess you could say that the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly, the director of the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office is kind of like a UFO chief. I guess you could say those things. Okay, so, I mean, it almost seems like what he is talking about, and it's not from last Tuesday, that must be an older clip, is, damn it, stop saying is the Oumuamua incident. Oumuamua is the first interstellar object detected passing through the solar system, formerly designated 1I/2017 U1. It was discovered by Robert Weirich using the Pan-STARRS telescope at the observatory in Hawaii on October 19th, 2017, approximately 40 days after it passed its closest point to the sun on September 9th. When it was first observed, it was 33 million kilometers, 21 million miles, or 0.22 astronomical units from Earth, about 85 times as far away as the moon, and already heading from the sun. And already heading away from the sun. That was a graph of the U.S. presidential election popular vote, the Democratic versus Republican in the millions, and that graph is showing that in 2020, yes, Biden got 81 million votes, but when you put that into perspective against the other elections, he got literally double the amount of votes that Democratic candidates usually get. It's not even like a Democratic versus Republican thing. Like, they both, it just doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right at all. It looks very fishy. Make up your own mind. Do your own research for sure. Damn, did we actually steal the election in 2020 from a leftist? And it was funny.
Y'all see what ABC just did? Y'all see? Everybody's pissed. I'm pissed. You should be pissed. We should all be pissed. I'm just gonna put that right there. Yeah.
I have no idea if she's gonna read it. ABC station ignited a flurry of conspiracy theories after it aired what appeared to be election result. It's like partially cut off. What appeared to be something election results for Pennsylvania that showed Kamala Harris easily winning the key swing state more than a week before Election Day.
Yeah. They did that. They're saying it was an accident. This was on ABC. Everybody is like, what? And I honestly think we all need to realize that if we lose, it was nothing on us. It was nothing on us. We all did what we needed to do. We voted. We got people to vote. We did all the things. And unfortunately, it will never be as good as the cheaters. It will never be as good. It will never be as good. And if this doesn't tell you what's going to happen, I mean, I hope it's wrong. I don't really even know what to think at this point, honestly.
I mean, that's correct. I have heard other people talking about this. That's part of the reason that I wanted to include it. Her comment at the end about that that it'll never be as good as the cheaters. I got reminded of a YouTuber named Waylon. Part of his content creation mission in like poning on the cheaters and the hackers in games, like go check out Waylon and some of his Rust videos if you haven't already. They're great. I said that to kind of show that, yeah, it does kind of seem hopeless when you're up against a cheater unless you have somebody that is very, very capable. And, you know, regardless of how everybody feels about the election, I mean, he won the popular vote and he won the Electoral College. Like, the decision was made. So even if they did try to cheat, like, just hypothetically take a trip down the rabbit hole with me. If they did try to cheat this time again, it didn't work. So, I mean, I don't know. I hope that a lot gets done. Let's just say it short and sweet like that. I hope a lot gets done this time.
My guy. Now what we not finna do is play with God's word. Now if God said he laid the earth on its foundations and put a firmament over us, then that's exactly what he did. See, in the Bible, God told Isaiah the difference between a ball and a circle. God knew exactly what wordplay he was using in the Bible to describe the earth. In the Bible, God also speaks about the four corners of the earth. A ball does not have corners, but a flat surface do. Now, when I say four corners of the earth, this is what I mean. The same way that man made a compass, a circle compass, and put north, east, south, and west, I'm speaking of exactly that. God also says in the Bible that he set a compass upon the face of the earth. Now, remember when I said that God made the earth as a compass? Okay, so let's talk about it. Now, the compass only recognizes north. North always points towards the center. Hint, the North Pole. Any other direction is only based off the direction of north. How could a compass point south on a globe if they are saying that south is downwards? East and west are curved lines that constantly readjust to align with north. So y'all question is, how come when I'm flying in a plane, I end up in the same place I came from? Well, that only happens with east and west. So if you say that you circled the whole world and ended up in the same place, that's because you were going east and west. But let me tell you something, traveling south is a whole different ballgame. See, because south is any direction leaving the center. See, because if you begin to head south, you will reach the Antarctica ice wall. So traveling south, you will never end up back at the same place. See, because there's a reason they won't allow y'all to travel south and end up at the ice wall. Like, bruh, come on. Even the compass don't want you traveling south. That's why it always points back to north, telling you to turn around every time you start to travel south. See, because if you decide to keep going and get past that ice wall, you will realize there is in fact a firmament over us, keeping anyone from leaving this earth. We couldn't be living in a globe if we wanted to. See, water has to be contained. They say that the earth is 71% water, so that by itself would be impossible. And I know y'all probably be wondering, where do rainbows come from? Now, scientists will tell you they self, to make a rainbow, you need water, light, and a mirror. See, when God said he created the firmament, He spreaded it out like a molten looking glass. See them big rainbows that you see? Is proof that we live underneath the firmament. It's the sunlight reflecting off of the firmament to remind us of his promise to never flood the earth again. See, God said he set the earth on its foundations so that it should never be moved. But scientists are saying that we are spinning and moving 1,040 miles per hour. And in 1927, we had no idea what the earth looked like, but created this picture. Now, all of a sudden, in 1997, they go see the earth and it looked exactly like that picture? No. Now, do y'all know who this man is? Probably not. But this is Richard E. Byrd. He was one of the first to discover Antarctica in 1928. See, he found evidence of the flat earth with the firmament over us. Even in his diaries and writings, he said it. See, he traveled all the way to the four corners of the earth. See, and when he found this discovery, what did our government do? They all went down to Antarctica 3 years later to claim a piece of it and to keep the truth hidden from us. That's why the Antarctica ice wall today is just like Area 51. Nobody could go there. Why is that? Are they hiding the truth? See, because that's what it seems like. Because that's what it is. See, and they just keep telling y'all all these lies and y'all just get brainwashed by it. They tell y'all they fly to the moon. See, because my question is, how you gonna fly to the moon when God said he made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night? Meaning that the moon and the sun ain't even solid objects. They're luminary. You can't just go up there and land on it. Like, come on, bro. Everybody know that landing was fake. The flag up there waving. You could see a shadow on the moon. Y'all talking about the stars is outer space. But in the videos and in the pictures, there's no stars in space. See, because y'all gonna have to do more than that to convince me. Because in Romans 3 and 4, God said, let Yah be the truth and every man a liar. But I know y'all gonna ask me, Anaya, how do sunsets work if the earth is flat? See, in Job 9 and 7, God says, who commands the sun and it does not rise? See, on y'all's globe earth, y'all believe that the sun is setting and rising, but in reality, it's all just about perspective. For example, have y'all ever heard of a vanishing point? See, because in reality, the sun and the moon are not setting and rising. They are rotating. See, because the farther that is getting away from us to rotate around the earth, it's seeming as if it's going down. And the closer that is getting from making its way back around to us, it seems as if it's rising. It's all due to perspective from where we're at. Okay, so y'all like, yeah, nah, I mean, that sound good. But how do seasons work then? See, what I need y'all to know is that the sun and the moon are actually closer than what they are telling y'all. The sun and the moon are inside the firmament with us. See, electromagnetism actually perfectly explains how the sun and the moon rotates on Earth. See, the sun and the moon are not rock or gas. They're light sources. Now, these light sources are in the shape of a disc that rotate the Earth like a clock, but in a coil-like spiral, dictating the seasons and the climate as it goes. See, now when the sun is beyond the equator ring, the northern hemisphere experiences summer, and the southern hemisphere experiences winter. Inversely, when below the equator ring, the southern hemisphere will experience summer, and the northern hemisphere will experience winter. They got y'all thinking that there's life beyond the earth. There is no space. There is no other planets out there. God says he sits at the top of the firmament. Those planets that y'all are seeing in those telescopes, those are called wandering stars. All of these are light sources. They are not solid objects. Alright, Anaya, so how does a solar eclipse work on a flat earth? And why can't we see stars during an eclipse of the sun and the moon? See, God says in eclipses, the sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and glorious days of the Lord. As so, see, a solar eclipse happens when the sun and the moon decides to rotate over each other. As so. Okay, so why can't we see stars during a solar eclipse? See, God says immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. So why can't you see stars during a solar eclipse? His word tells you everything you need to know. There is nothing outside the firmament that they know of, because they can't get past the firmament. God tells us he placed water above the firmament. All these people didn't have the same vision for no reason. There was many times that they have snitched on themselves, saying that they never been outside the earth, saying that there's nowhere to go, saying that they never been to the moon for real. They even be putting the truth into the cartoons. They are steady trying to break the firmament. They trying to nuke the firmament, sending rockets up there to break the firmament. They trying everything in their power. And as a matter of fact, my next video, I'm going to be showing y'all videos of them really saying they ain't never been to the moon. I'm going to be showing y'all videos of them trying to nuke the firmament, them trying to send rockets to the firmament, and even putting hidden truth into these cartoons and movies. These people know exactly what they are doing. And they know exactly what the firmament is. I'm telling y'all, that's exactly the reason why we can't go to the Antarctica ice wall. You can't fly over it. You can't do nothing. They don't want you seeing nothing, knowing nothing. Because they know once we find out that there is an end to this earth, that we gonna know the Bible is the true history of this world. And I want y'all to know that there is no other planets outside of this firmament. When God said he created the earth, I'm pretty sure he would have said, I created Saturn, Mars, Neptune, and Venus. He calls those wandering stars. And I want to tell y'all so bad what stars are, but y'all can just see it in the next video because I don't have time to actually explain it right now because I only have 10 minutes on TikTok. But when I tell y'all the truth about stars, it's going to blow y'all mind. See, because what I want y'all to know is back in the day in them old Bibles, before all the wordings was getting changed into their own interpretation, in 2 Samuel 11:11, it said that the earth was flat. But that was before they started changing everything, so people wouldn't know the truth. And that's why God said those who took away from his word and added to his word will be greatly punished. So the whole point to this video is, let Yah be the truth, and every man.
I have a really, really hard time listening to somebody's argument when they're sitting there getting a bunch of words wrong. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to confirm a couple of things because I really hate talking out my ass and sounding like a moron. So I have a really hard time, and sure, this can be applied to me. Everybody gets words wrong, but I have a really hard time listening to somebody's argument on anything in the world if they're sitting there getting words wrong the whole time they're talking to me. The last video, I kind of giggled over her saying Antarctica ice wall, and while that, is kind of innocuous a couple of times alone in a vacuum, like, it's not the Antarctica ice wall, it's the Antarctic. It's the ant part of Antarctica. Is the prefix anti originates from ancient Greece, which is what I was thinking, where it meant against, opposite, or in place of. And so in this context, it means like the Arctic is up here, so the Antarctic is down here. That is what that means. And that's probably, like a dumb differentiation to make, but like, I'm giving you 10 minutes to make your point. I don't know, maybe do your best and stop trying to sound condescending. Like, sure, I come off like an asshole sometimes, but like, talking down to people is never how you convince them of your beliefs or like your way of thinking. Like, you're not getting anybody on board by sitting there talking to them like they're brainwashed idiots who don't, I don't even, you don't even know what shape of planet you're on. Like, you don't have to talk to people that way. I just don't get that. Alongside Antarctica ice wall, southern, not southern, southern. Does maybe that's a me thing. Maybe I'm just from the south, where we say southern and not southern. Like, that just. So anyway, after getting on that, like, her whole argument, like, I really like when people bring up science and the flat earth argument, because I like conflicting scientific theories, because, like, science is a process, It's not like we have confirmed proof that the Big Bang is the Big Bang. It's that we have a working theory of what we think happened, and as more time passes and more studies are done, we may throw that out and say, whoa, that was actually completely wrong. And so when your whole argument hinges on the Word of God, the Word of God, the Word of God, the Word of God, it's really difficult to take that argument seriously without the person you're listening to sounding like a fanatic, or uneducated. And I'm not trying to say that she is a fanatic or is uneducated, by no means. For the topic she was discussing, she seems to know what what she needs to say to suit her narrative. I'm not implying anything. I am just saying, if all the information you're getting is from the Bible and your argument is that it's the Word of God and so it's true by default, automatically, no argument, then you have to remember, or at least keep in mind, that the Bible was compiled by men and it was arranged by men. Like it was inspired by the Word of God, or like divine intervention, sure, or whatever you want to believe, but it was still decided upon by the Council of Nicaea. The Council of Nicaea was the first ecumenical council in the history of the Christian Church, convened by Emperor Constantine in 325 AD. The primary purpose of the council was to address the controversy surrounding Arianism, a doctrine that denied the divinity of Jesus Christ. The dispute began in Alexandria, Egypt, between Arius, a priest, and Bishop Alexander, who advocated for the full divinity of Jesus. Arius claimed that Jesus was a created being, subordinate to God the Father. This view gained popularity among some Eastern bishops, while others, including Alexander, rejected it. The Council of Nicaea was held in the imperial palace of Nicaea, now Iznik, Turkey. Approximately 300 bishops from across the Roman Empire attended, including prominent figures such as Eusebius, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, of Nicomedia, and Eusebius of Caesarea, who supported Arius, and Alexander of Alexandria, who opposed him. The key decisions made were the Nicene Creed. The council produced the Nicene Creed, a statement of faith that affirmed the divinity and eternality of Jesus Christ, declaring him to be of one substance with God the Father. 2. Condemnation of Arianism. The council condemned Arius and his teachings, rejecting the notion that Jesus was a created being. Establishment of Orthodox doctrine. The Nicene Creed became the standard doctrine for the Christian Church, establishing the foundations for later councils and theological debates. The impact. And what I was taught at St. Mark was that they decided what books went in the Bible. That is, when you talk about like the Dead Sea Scrolls, or like why some books are of like written by people that were in Jesus's life, but they're not included in the Bible because they were left out purposefully, because they didn't suit the grand picture the council wanted to build for the Bible. So when your whole argument hinges on that, it falls apart, like, immediately. She's not understanding rainbows. Like, rainbows are caused by light refracting through rain droplets. It's not that you need a mirror. Rainbow, meteorological phenomenon caused by reflection, refraction, and dispersion of light in water droplets. A rainbow is an optical phenomenon caused by refraction, internal reflection, and dispersion of light in water droplets. Yeah, it's that there's water in the air. That's why it happens after a storm or before a storm, or if there's just too much moisture in the air. Like, it's not. She like claims that you need a mirror for some reason. One of her comments did actually bring up the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch explains it all, the orders of the sun and the moon and their seasons. I think the Book of Enoch should be included in Christian doctrine, but that's just me. What are wandering stars? What are they? I watched this video because you said that it had explanations for things I didn't understand in the other one. So since I didn't necessarily fully understand the other one, I wanted to watch this one. And I'm still confused by like wandering stars. What? And then you tell me at the end that you don't have time for it. Like that's the most interesting part. What are wandering stars? If planets aren't a thing, and the sun and the moon are just essentially balls of light that hover very close to Earth, what are wandering stars? Okay, flat Earth evidence. The wandering stars are not the planets. Stationary stars. What we are taught are distant suns, but are actually created beings and receive their energy from another dimension. Well, that's interesting. So they're Lovecraftian? What? Planets, which I believe are actually the 7 vials of God's wrath, which I will be covering in a future blog post. Sure. Thank you. I look forward to that. Shooting stars, what we were taught are micrograin particles of dust traveling at a godzillion miles per hour that seem to always miss the International Fake Station. I think shooting star, that is kind of curious though. Like they talk about like, what is it, like microscopic meteors being like very prevalent in space, and it's like, well then why hasn't the ISS ever had to deal with that? Or have they and they just don't release it? Oh right, it's fake. I think shooting stars may either be living entities or pieces of the firmament that have broke. So okay, we'll back up. So are you telling me are flat earthers, and this is just a legitimate question, are flat earthers really sitting there saying the planets aren't real? Well, yeah, of course they are, but I'll finish what I'm saying anyway. The planets aren't real. The sun and moon aren't what you think they are. They're closer than what you think. Gravity doesn't exist. Oh, and the thing that you think are planets, they're actually demons or angels or Lovecraftian monsters. We don't know. Like, can we just agree? Can we just agree that that sounds ridiculous, please? Please? Come on. Like, I get the, and I'm probably going to have to cut it here shortly, because I've been rambling too much. I get the resistance to, wanting to go along with the narrative and like, you're fed up with today's world. And so, we're in the Matrix, man. I more believe in that we are in a simulation, like a highly advanced simulation, than I do we are on a flat earth. And it's not that I think it's lame, and it's not that I think that people who think that are idiots. I just don't personally believe in it. It is one of your favorite conspiracy theories. It would be the simulation theory, that we're in a highly advanced, like I love video games, so that kind of like hits home with me. That we're just in a highly advanced civilization, and we weren't meant to obtain sentience, but we did, or we have like at least a facsimile of sentience. But like all of these really fanatical Christians being like, oh, Earth is flat because the Bible says Earth is flat. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to be funny.
Can somebody help me out? I'm trying to figure this out. The water on this ball is going down because of gravity, right? The Earth's gravity is so strong it's pulling the water down to it. And the Earth's gravity is so strong that it holds the moon to it instead of the sun pulling the moon to it, because it's bigger and has bigger density and mass, so it should go towards the sun. But the Earth is strong enough to hold on to it. So strong enough to hold trillions of gallons of water to it, and to hold the moon to it, but not strong enough to hold smoke rings to it? What am I missing? Strong enough to hold a boat upside down, down under, yet not strong enough to hold a little hot air to the ground. Strong enough to pull this water to it, but not strong enough to pull this less dense form of water to it. Dense? Density? Buoyancy? Density? Maybe density and buoyancy has something to do with why things rise and fall. I mean, if I'm in water and I'm sinking, but then I take a big breath and hold it, did I just defy gravity? Or did I make myself a little bit more buoyant because I added some more oxygen to my lungs? And maybe, just maybe, if something is more dense than its surrounding medium, aka a golf ball in air, it will drop. But if it's less dense than its surrounding medium, aka a ping pong ball filled with air and water, it will float. And I don't know, maybe electricity plays a role somehow, like how everything around us is electric. And maybe since we're electric beings and positively charged, and the Earth is negatively charged or neutrally charged, aka grounding, maybe that's why we stick to the ground, because we're positively charged and being attracted to the negatively charged Earth, not because it's so massive that its gravity is holding us to it, yet somehow allows a butterfly and smoke to magically fly up into the air. Maybe, just maybe, that's why gravity is a theory, because you can't prove shit about it. Excuse my language. And of course, this is all for entertainment purposes. I know that these balloons and helium balloons and smoke just are the special occasion that gravity doesn't pay attention to. Entertainment only.
I saw one comment that says this account has to be satire. And at this point, oh man, I'm starting to think that too. It has to be, right? Right? He can't be serious. Is he serious? I believe it's the Y-Files has a really good video on the electric universe. Everyone should check it out if they haven't already. That channel's great. That video is great. And I do really like the electric universe theory. God, that caught me. Oh man, he caught me so off guard. I'm gonna have to listen to that again. I'll go bit by bit because he's saying a lot, so I wanna tackle each thing as it goes. I mean, I'll preface with that there definitely is something about the fundamental forces that we don't understand. We do not have a unified theory yet. Something is missing. We're not really sure why gravity seems so weak in comparison to, say, magnetism. That example is brought up a lot. In reference to his question about the moon, why does the Earth keep hold of the moon, but the sun doesn't take it? Well, the moon is actually moving away from us. I don't know if he's aware of that, but it is. Gravity is very subtle. It's not like magnetism in the sense that, like, if these two things were magnetic and you got them close enough, they would snap to each other. Whereas gravity is more like this thing is right here and this thing is here. Because they exist, if they are close enough, they will just start drifting towards each other. There isn't they don't whoosh, snap to, but they'll just kind of drift. Kind of in a similar way that our galaxy is on a collision course with our nearest neighbor Andromeda that will happen in several billion years or some shit. So yeah, it's that the effect of gravity is more subtle, and that's why the sun hasn't just ripped the moon away from us, but it is also that the moon actually is, and I'll even verify that for a second, the moon actually is moving away from us. Yeah, why is the moon moving away from us? Moon's orbital distance shift. Yes, the moon is moving away from Earth. According to search results, the moon has been slowly drifting away from Earth over the past 2.5 billion years. The current rate of recession is approximately 3.8 centimeters, 1.5 inches per year. This means that the moon is gradually increasing its average distance from Earth. Several factors contribute to this movement. Tidal interactions. The Earth's rotation and the moon's gravitational pull on the oceans create a tidal bulge. So, like, people talk about the Earth is like more oval shaped, and that's part of the like, yes, it is more oval shaped, but then also there is this like bulge. Got a nice bulge. There's like a bulging around the center that happens because of the water, which in turn slows down the moon's orbit and increases its distance from Earth. Gravitational interactions. The Earth's gravity affects the moon's orbit, causing it to move away from our planet, which is very strange. I guess that something is caught, like, you would think they would be moving closer to each other, but something about its orbit must be throwing it off to where it's, I don't know. That does sound fishy and weird, and it's an AI answer, so. But a lot of those are just pulled straight from, like, this is from BBC Science Focus. At least that's the basic idea, but there's a problem. At the current rate of recession, the moon must have separated from the Earth just 1.5 billion years ago, far more recently than geological evidence suggests. Yeah, the moon's weird. I can get hung up on the moon for a really long time. The moon is weird, and it's probably fake. Go watch the Y-Files video on it. You'll be convinced. The moon isn't real, guys. That's not even like I honestly believe that. That is, like, scary to say. Of all the crazy things that I am like, nah, I don't believe in that. Nah, I don't believe in that. No, that video from the Y-Files on the moon being fake sold me. It is easier, according to science, it is easier to explain why the moon shouldn't be there than why it is. And that's just weird. Okay, not strong enough to hold smoke rings to it. Smoke appears to float because of a combination of factors. Temperature difference. Smoke is hotter than the surrounding air, typically around 100 Celsius to 200 Celsius, 212 Fahrenheit to 319. To 392 Fahrenheit. This heat causes the smoke particles to expand and become less dense than the cooler air. Convection currents. As hot air rises, it displaces the cooler air, creating convection currents. This upward motion carries the smoke particles with it, making them appear to float. Buoyancy. The hot smoke particles are buoyed up by the surrounding cooler air, much like a helium-filled balloon rises in the air. He mentions that as well. This buoyancy helps to sustain the upward motion of the smoke. Lack of turbulence. In calm air conditions, the smoke particles have minimal interaction with the surrounding air, allowing them to maintain their upward trajectory without being dispersed or deflected. Particle size and velocity. The size and velocity of the smoke particles also play a role. Smaller particles tend to rise faster and farther than larger ones, and particles moving at higher velocities are more likely to maintain their upward trajectory. In summary, the combination of temperature difference, convection currents, buoyancy, lack of turbulence, and the particle size, all of these things contribute to its war against gravity. He tries to state that because of the electric universe theory and everything, and all of us being electric, that it must be electromagnetism that's keeping us to the planet. Except that if that were true, we wouldn't be able to move. Like, we would be stuck to the surface. We wouldn't be able to wander around and walk around. Like, that is how overwhelmingly powerful magnetism is compared to gravity. And again, we still don't have, like, we need to work on our theory of gravity. Like, humanity needs to come up with a better, a unified theory and stop stagnating physics. I mean, I guess you could say, oh, well, he's talking about static electricity. He's not talking about, like, electromagnetism. And it's like, but then that's the weaker form of like static electricity. I don't feel like would be strong enough, but maybe I'm wrong. And we also do get insight into, okay, gravity seems kind of weak. Why does it seem so weak? But then we look at black holes, and they are gravity on steroids. The sun is, I found a comment, the sun is strong enough to pull all the big planets, but decides to leave the little moons orbiting those planets. What? What? I don't have faith in our school system. I just don't. I don't. Why is it like this? This person can't be serious, right? I'm open-minded. Okay, I found a decent comment. I'm open-minded, but I always ask flat earthers to explain wind and storms. If the world is flat and still, where does the energy come from for storms and wind? Atmosphere and climate when you have a mixture of moisture and air circulation, duh. Yeah, the storms don't happen because of the shape of the planet. They happen because of the composition of the atmosphere.
Ain't no way everyone here is a real person. Life is a simulation and a legitimate professor has proved it. James Gates, a theoretical physicist at MIT with 2 bachelor degrees and a PhD, found literal computer code embedded in the most fundamental building blocks of reality, called strings. Now, string theory is a tough one, but I'm gonna break it down for you in a way that an 11-year-old would understand. So if you don't get this, hey, go back to grade 5, bro. Alright, so we got my boy Einstein's theory of general relativity, which is basically just a theory of everything big. Planets, gravity, the universe, all the way back to the Big Bang. Then we got the new kid in town, quantum physics. This is the theory of everything small, like particles, atoms, and molecules, where the general laws of physics like gravity don't apply anymore. The same is true the other way around. Quantum laws don't apply to regular-sized physics. So we got general relativity, everything big, and quantum physics, everything small. Like, yo, dig. But both of these realms have the same parent, the Big Bang, at which point everything that is now big used to be small. If the small can become big, then quantum and general relativity need some sort of theory that can unify them. That is string theory. What happens to the big when it's small? What happens when you zoom into an atom? You see protons and neutrons in the center with electrons all around it. Now, what about inside a neutron? Even smaller particles called quarks. So how deep does the scale go? Conventional science will tell you there's nothing inside these quarks. But string theory suggests there's a tiny filament or a string of pure energy that exists inside of them. And just like the string of a guitar vibrates and creates different sound based on its shape and tension, the strings in string theory vibrate. But instead of sound, they produce matter in the form of particles. This completely changes the way you look at the world. Every particle in the universe is just a string vibrating at a different frequency, and every vibrational pattern has its own associated particle. So if you break anything down far enough, we're all just energy vibrating at differing wavelengths to form matter. Although it's still just a theory, this would link general relativity to the quantum realm and form what is known as the theory of everything. Okay, yeah, cool. Now where is this computer code found? When Dr. James Gates took a look at a set of equations derived from string theory, he found binary code, error correcting code used for compressing data on a computer. A sequence of ones and zeros, the same code that is used by popular search engines, which according to him, who has a PhD in theoretical physics from MIT, doesn't just resemble computer code, it literally is computer code. Meaning, if we break matter and energy down far enough, we eventually find compressing computer code etched into the very fabric of reality. So, who wrote this code? Are we living in, dare I say, a simulation?
A sequence of ones and zeros? Hold on. Say that again for me, bud? Yes, search engines use binary. All computers use binary. What is your... Hold up. Don't include that.
Theory of everything. Okay, yeah, cool. Now where is this computer code found? When Dr. James Gates took a look at a set of equations derived from string theory, he found binary code, error correcting code used for compressing data on a computer.
Okay, whoa. He says binary code, comma, error correcting code. Okay, he found binary code, error correcting code used for binary on computer, or used for compressing data on computers. Binary is used for way more than just compressing data. Yo, Editor Lemon here. I was in the middle of this and I don't feel like I'm really getting my point across, or maybe I kind of feel like I myself am coming across as though I'm misunderstanding it. If he's referring to the compression of data as the process of breaking everything down to ones and zeros, I guess you could call that compressing data, but like, I just went ahead and, since I've done it for the whole video, I just went ahead and looked something up really quick. Binary in computer science. Binary is a fundamental concept in computer science, serving as the basis for all computing systems and operations. It is a number system that uses only 2 digits, 0 and 1. This binary numeral system is employed internally by almost all modern computers and computer-based devices. Key characteristics base 2 system. Binary is a positional notation with a radix base of 2. two possible states. 0 and 1 represents the only two possible states in binary, often symbolized as off and on, or low and high in digital electronics. Byte, a group of 8 adjacent binary digits, 8 bits, form a byte, which is the fundamental unit of information processing in computers. Applications, data storage and processing. Binary enables devices to store, access, and manipulate all types of all types of information directed to and from the CPU or memory. Digital encoding and decoding. The term binary also refers to any digital encoding decoding systems in which there are exactly two possible states. The ASCII codes. Binary numbers can be translated into text characters using American Standard Code for information interchange, ASCII codes, to store information in the computer's RAM or CPU. Importance. Primary language of the computer systems. The binary system is the primary language of computer systems, allowing devices to understand and process information. It's the foundation for computer operations. Binary is the foundation for all computer operations, including arithmetic, logical, and control operations. In summary, binary is the fundamental number system used in computer science, enabling computers to process and store information using only 2 digits, 0 and 1. Its applications range from data storage and processing to digital encoding and decoding, and its importance lies in its role as the primary language of computer systems. And if I'm remembering this correctly, when people talk about machine code, that's kind of what they're talking about. Yeah, for conventional binary computers, machine code is the binary representation of a computer program which is actually read and interpreted by the computer. Okay, and I also wanted to give you guys the definition of an interpreter because I felt like I butchered it. In computer science, an interpreter is a computer program that directly executes instructions written in a program or scripting language without requiring them previously to have been compiled into a machine language program. Editor lemon out! That's not its only application. And yeah, if the argument there is we found binary in an equation, and so that points to computers use binary, so boom, boom, connection made. But like, he's going through this like extra step of like explaining what binary is, but he's doing it wrong. It is a string of ones and zeros, but like, isn't string theory dead? Like, isn't it been converted into M theory? Okay. I think I found it. Because I'm sitting here going like, wasn't string theory like reassessed, and isn't it called M theory now? Five's company. The 5 different string theories had a few commonalities. For one, they all involved strings. They also all required our universe to have 10 total dimensions. The usual 3 spatial dimensions, 1 for time, and 6 more compact dimensions that are tiny and curled up on themselves at submicroscopic scales. And in all the theories, the ways strings vibrate give rise to the richness of our physical world, from the forces of nature to the building blocks of matter to physical constraints themselves. But when it comes to physical theories, details matter, and the 5 competing string models differed in the details. Some theories only had closed loops of strings, while others allowed open, wiggling strings. Some theories only allowed vibrations to travel in one direction on the strings, while others allowed both. And some theories were a combination of other theories. For reference, in case you're curious, the names of the 5 string theories are Type 1, Type 2A, Type 2B, SO32 heterotic, and E8 times E8 heterotic. They obviously couldn't all be correct descriptions of nature, but which one was the real string theory and which one were the phonies? You phony! The problem was, and still is today, that string theory isn't complete. There's no such thing as the final equations of string theory, something that could be printed on a t-shirt that describes theory in the same way that we have the Einstein equations for gravity or the Maxwell equations for electromagnetism. We only have approximations that we hope but can't prove are close to the actual theory, and so the 5 string theories represent 5 different approximations with no way of being able to decide which one is best. Duality of the fates. And then 1995 happened when prominent theoretical physicist Edward Witten gave a talk at the annual string theory conference. In the talk, he offered a radical suggestion. Perhaps the 5 string theories weren't so different after all. It turns out that there are intersecting connections called dualities or symmetries among the 5 theories. For example, something we don't know about strings is how strongly they like to interact. But if you take, say, type 1 string theory and ramp up its interaction strength, you end up with the weaker version of SO32 heterotic. And there's more. Sometimes strings can wind around a tiny curled up dimension a certain number of times with a certain momentum, but the duality of that has the number of windings and the momentum flipped. Type 2A and Type 2B string theories are related by such a duality. These dualities suggest that the 5 string theories are all related somehow and are probing something much, much deeper. That deeper thing can be guessed at by following all the dualities. By attempting both dualities on the 5 string theories, sometimes you get the links to one of the other 5, and sometimes you get dualities to somewhere new. What is that somewhere new? Edward Witten suggested calling it M theory, with the M open to interpretation, mother, mystery, membrane, until such time we actually understand it. Big brains! M theory is like an uber theory of strings, showing how all 5 string theories are really just small corners of a much larger and much more mysterious theory. We used to think of the 5 string theories as separate planets, with our theoretical and mathematical explorations confined to little islands on those planets. But M theory revealed that all those islands are actually shared the same much larger planet all along. One curious feature of M theory, the little that we know about it, that is that what we consider string theory appears to be just a low energy approximation of the real deal, and that real deal requires not 10 but 11 dimensions in our universe. What's more, the fundamental object of reality is no longer the string but the D-brane. Brain, B-R-A-N-E, is just a fancy word for multidimensional vibrating things, with the letter D signifying the dimension, giving us everything from 1 brain's strings to 2 brains sheets to 3 brains blobs and more. For the most part, these brains lie low and mostly just act like strings, with the 11th dimension not playing much of a role in the grand cosmic symphony. Beyond that, there isn't much known about M theory. String theorists usually work in one of the usual 5 regimes, since they've been so well studied for decades, and the additional dimension and introduction of brains makes the already fiendish mathematics of string theory that much worse. Still, theorists continue to probe at the edges, hoping to someday give a full name to the M in M theory. Furthermore, ideas from information theory keep showing up in physics. In my research, I found this very strange thing, said James Gates, a theoretical physicist at the University of Maryland. I was driven to error-correcting codes. They're what make browsers work. So why were they in the equations I was studying about quarks and electrons and supersymmetry? I imagine some amount of error correcting code would be necessary to make browsers work, but that's kind of still not really understanding how browsers work. This brought me to the stark realization that I could no longer say people like Max are crazy. And the statistical argument that most minds in the future will turn out to be artificial rather than biological is also not a given, said Lisa Randall, a theoretical physicist at Harvard University. It's just not based on well-defined probabilities. The argument says you'd have a lot of things you'd want to that want to simulate us. I actually have a problem with that. We mostly are interested in ourselves. I don't know why this higher species would want to simulate us. Randall admitted she did not quite understand why other scientists were even entertaining the notion that the universe is a simulation. I actually am very interested in why so many people think it's an interesting question. She rated the chances of this idea turns out to be true effectively 0. Wow, what a stick in the mud. Says me to me. I don't know why this higher species would want to simulate us. I mean, I guess in a similar way that we want to simulate older civilizations now, right? Like, I'm trying to think of older games. Like most games are wish fulfillment. or like power fantasy. So I'm trying to think of like, but I mean, Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, perfect. It's from, you know, it's from the American West. It's from like what is it, like 1800s? That's not us. I mean, it is us, but it's a previous version of us. It's us in the past. That's the argument, right? Like that's the easy argument. Is it's us in the future who want to simulate us in the past and understand the lives that we went through because the worlds are so different. Like that's not a hard thing to understand, I don't think. Man, Harvard's letting me down. No, I'm just kidding. Avi loves at Harvard. There's no reason to think they're all powerful just because they control everything we do, and a simulated universe introduces another disturbing possibility. What happens, Tyson said, if there's a bug that crashes the entire program? Now you're getting it. No, like I feel like such an advanced simulation would have very little. It would have error correcting. It would have error correcting code, right? Like it wouldn't. It would be a very unlikely to bug, and if it does, it's probably that either deja vu or like it just shuts off, and then we all come back, and nobody's the wiser. Like I don't know. There are any number of things. Like yeah, exactly. What happens if we're in a simulation and there's a bug? Thank you. Now you're getting it. All right, one last thing. Moderator Neil deGrasse Tyson, director of the museum's Hayden Planetarium, put the odds at 50-50 that our entire existence is a program on someone else's hard drive. I think the likelihood may be very high. 50-50 isn't very high, but okay. It's half, but whatever. It's an F in school standards. He said he noted the gap between human and chimpanzee intelligence, despite the fact that we share more than 98% of our DNA. Somewhere out there could be a being whose intelligence is much greater than our own. We would be drooling, blithering idiots in their presence, he said. If that's the case... Oh, well, we're all blithering idiots in your presence, Neil. If that's the case, it is easy for me to imagine that everything... That was sarcasm. It is easy for me to imagine that everything in our lives is just a creation of some other entity for their entertainment. I mean, yeah, that's... I'm on board. I think the probability is probably a tiny bit higher, if I had to get. I don't know. I don't want to sound like Elon and be like, oh yeah. There's a 0.1% chance that we're in base reality. No. I don't want to go that far. I think there's like a 75% chance we're in a simulation, 25% chance we're in base reality. About to make the simulation that everyone's worried about, and then somebody, how will this affect rent? Is little baby Hammerhead. What? No. Bye, little guy. That was great. Okay. That was the palate cleanser. Thank you for joining me today. Again, I am sorry about the being off on the schedule. I will do my best to stay on track. You have my word. If you want to help me out, do the YouTube stuffs, the liking, the commenting, the subscribings. Last time I checked, we were in the 170s. Our goal is 500. Episodes air Monday through Thursdays at 5 p.m. I hope you have a great weekend. Come back and join me next week. Bye.